Okay, Unit 3, Lecture 2.5, I guess. I want to expand on some things, talk about a few things that we've mentioned in earlier lectures, things I hope I'm talking about in class, but I think need a little more detail for your quiz coming up and for the unit exam, all right? The idea of federalism, and I want you to be careful when you're taking a test or a quiz, is the question asking about an idea or about powers that are shared, all right? Because powers that are shared between state and national governments are concurrent. The idea of sharing powers is federalism. That means some powers are given to the states and some are kept for the national or federal government. Right? Those powers kept by the national government we call delegated powers or enumerated. Enumerated is not on that little chart I have over there. Enumerated is E-N-U-M-E-R-A-T-E-D. Delegated and enumerated powers are those powers listed in the Constitution, written in there. All right, I know we're going to expand on this a little bit more when we talk about the elastic clause and implied powers, but right now we're talking about three types of powers: delegated or enumerated, which are the national government's powers listed in the Constitution. All right, these are things like declare war, all right, print money, so we have a common currency throughout all 50 states, interstate commerce, control of interstate commerce, regulation of trade, admitting new states. Look at the graphic, be aware of the different powers that each level of government controls. All right, the powers kept by the states are called reserved powers. We reserve those powers for the states. These are things like marriage, driver's licenses, and education. Okay, public education is a state responsibility. Again, reserved. And anything that's not enumerated or delegated but to the federal government or explicitly denied to the state could be a reserved power. Now, the powers that are shared that they both have at the same time run concurrently are concurrent powers. These are things like the power to tax. We pay both state and federal taxes. Probably for most of us, we pay mostly state or local taxes. They also both can provide welfare, help to promote the general welfare, give assistance in times of need. They can both borrow money, and they both have court systems. Okay, so these are concurrent shared powers. I want you to look over this chart, be aware of them. Okay, things both the state and national government control. While we're here, while we're talking about quick, I'd like to go back into and cover the structure again of government as established by the Constitution. We are separated in three branches, right? We have separation of powers. I hope I mentioned Montesquieu. This is his idea, the French philosophe, Montesquieu. All right, three branches of government. We have an executive branch. Their job is to enforce the law. That's the president, to execute the law. All right, commander-in-chief, he has the power of appointment and the ability to veto legislation, which is an example of a check, where the branches have checks and balances to make sure no branch gets too powerful. A second branch of government is the legislative branch. That's Congress. We have a bicameral Congress, remember, a House of Representatives and a Senate. All right, their job is to make the law. Okay, they can override the presidential veto. The third branch is the Judiciary or the Supreme Court, and their job is to interpret the law. They have the power of judicial review. Okay, remember that.